What if I told you the greatest wisdom of life is quietly sitting in our homes, ignored, forgotten, and longing for respect? In today's fast world, we chase youth, speed, and technology. But in that rush, we often forget the people who carried us here, our elders. Respecting elders is not just about good manners. It's about honoring wisdom, protecting traditions, and giving love back to those who gave us everything. Today, let's explore why respect for elders is one of the most powerful values we can bring back into our lives. When we talk about respect for elders, some people think of it as an old-fashioned value, something people used to talk about in the past, like opening doors for women, saying sir or madam, or standing up when someone older enters the room. But in reality, respecting elders is not an outdated practice. It is a timeless principle. It is one of the pillars of human society, and without it, we lose a part of our humanity. Think about it. Every gray hair you see on an elder's head is not just a sign of age. It's a crown of experiences. It represents decades of struggles, victories, sacrifices, and lessons learned. They have walked paths we have yet to walk. They have seen life in ways we cannot yet imagine. And when we respect them, we are not only honoring their past, we are protecting the wisdom of humanity itself. In many traditional societies, elders were the heartbeat of the community. They were the decision-makers, the advisors, the storytellers. In Japan, elders are honored as keepers of wisdom. There's even a national holiday called Respect for the Aged Day, where the entire nation pauses to celebrate its older citizens. In Africa, elders are regarded as living libraries. There is a famous African proverb that says, "When an old man dies, a library burns to the ground." This means every elder carries within them a collection of stories, knowledge, and wisdom that can never be replaced. Now imagine for a moment what would happen if nobody listened to those libraries, if their shelves of knowledge stayed closed, gathering dust. Humanity would lose the opportunity to learn without making the same mistakes again. We would keep stumbling in the dark, repeating errors that could have been avoided had we respected the voices of our elders. But respect for elders is not only about learning wisdom, it's also about dignity. Old age is a stage of life that can be beautiful, but also challenging. As bodies grow weaker and health issues arise, what keeps an elder strong is not just medicine. It's love, attention, and respect. Feeling valued gives them strength. Feeling ignored takes it away. I once heard an elderly gentleman say, "The saddest thing about growing old is not the pain in my knees, but the feeling that I have become invisible." That broke my heart, because he was right. Many elders today feel invisible. They are alive, breathing, and full of stories, but society treats them as if they no longer matter. Respect is the cure for that invisibility. A simple, "How are you, Grandpa?" A genuine, "Tell me about your childhood, Grandma." A smile, a hug, or simply listening with patience. These are acts of respect that make an elder feel seen again. Respect also builds stronger families. Children who see their parents respecting elders grow up with empathy and kindness in their hearts. They learn that every stage of life has value. They understand that life is a circle, and one day they too will be old. Respect becomes a bridge that connects generations. Here's the truth. When we respect elders, we are not only giving to them, we are also giving to ourselves. Because the respect you show your parents or grandparents today is the respect your own children will show you tomorrow. Life always comes full circle. So why does respect for elders matter? It matters because it keeps us human. It matters because it strengthens families. It matters because it protects wisdom and traditions. And most importantly, it matters because, without respect, life loses its warmth, its compassion, its beauty. Respect doesn't cost money. It's free. But it is one of the most priceless gifts you can ever give. Now that we understand why respect for elders is so important, let's pause for a moment and look at the reality of today's world. Because the truth is, many elders do not feel respected. They feel forgotten. They feel left behind. They feel like the world they once built is moving forward without them. This is what I call the silent crisis of disrespect. It's silent because it doesn't always come in the form of loud insults or open arguments. Instead, it shows up in small, everyday ways that many of us might not even notice. Think about this. How often do we rush through conversations with our parents or grandparents? How often do we say, "I'm busy right now, I'll call later," and that later never comes? How often do we roll our eyes when an elder struggles with technology, or dismiss their advice with, "Times are different now, you don't understand"? These are not loud forms of disrespect, but they hurt deeply. They create a feeling of neglect. In fact, studies show that elder neglect is one of the fastest-growing social issues worldwide. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 6 elders around the world experience abuse, neglect, or lack of proper respect. And remember, abuse is not always physical. Emotional neglect, such as ignoring, isolating, or treating someone as if their opinion doesn't matter, can be just as damaging, sometimes even more. Let me share a story. A grandmother in her 70s once told me, "I send good morning texts to my grandchildren every day. Sometimes they reply, but often they don't. I know they're busy. But when days go by without even a simple reply, I feel like I'm talking to a wall. It feels like my existence doesn't matter." Now pause and think about that. She wasn't asking for money. She wasn't asking for gifts. She wasn't asking for anything big. All she wanted was acknowledgement. A simple, "Good morning, Grandma." That's it. But the silence on the other side of her messages made her feel invisible. That's how neglect looks today. Another reason elders feel disrespected today is the rapid pace of technology. Smartphones, social media, artificial intelligence, everything is changing at lightning speed. For many elders, this world feels confusing and overwhelming. Instead of patiently teaching them, too often younger generations mock them or leave them behind. Imagine how humiliating it must feel for someone who worked their entire life, raised a family, and gave so much to society to suddenly feel like they don't belong in this new world simply because they struggle with a smartphone. Then there's the cultural shift. In the past, multi-generational households were common. Children, parents, and grandparents lived under one roof. Respect for elders wasn't just taught. It was lived every single day. But now, with modern lifestyles, families are more fragmented. Elders often live alone, sometimes in nursing homes, sometimes in houses where nobody visits. Without daily interaction, they begin to feel forgotten. And let's be honest, sometimes younger generations do not see elders as useful anymore. In a society that glorifies productivity, speed, and youth, elders are often seen as slowing things down. But here's the truth. Productivity fades, but wisdom never does. Youth gives energy, but age gives direction. Without both, society loses balance. This silent crisis has real consequences. Studies show that elders who feel neglected or disrespected are more likely to suffer from depression, anxiety, and even physical illness. Loneliness is now being called the new smoking because its impact on health is as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that. A lack of respect and social connection can literally shorten a person's life. But here is the important part. Disrespect is not always about what we do. Sometimes it's about what we done to do. Not visiting, not calling, not listening, not involving elders in decisions. Silence itself can be a form of disrespect. Disrespect doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers in silence, and that silence can break an elder's heart. If we want to build a kinder society, we must first recognize this silent crisis. We must realize that even if we don't insult or mistreat our elders, neglect can still wound them deeply. Respect is not just about avoiding harm, it's about actively showing care, attention, and dignity. Now let's look at something fascinating: the science of respect. Because respecting elders is not only about culture or morality, it also has measurable effects on health, happiness, and even longevity. In other words, respect is medicine. Let's start with the mind. When elders feel respected and valued, their brains release chemicals that improve mood and reduce stress. One of these chemicals is oxytocin, also known as the bonding hormone. It's the same hormone that strengthens trust and closeness between people. A simple act of kindness, listening with patience, offering a compliment, or showing gratitude can trigger oxytocin release, making elders feel loved and emotionally secure. On the other hand, when elders feel ignored or disrespected, the brain releases stress hormones like cortisol. High cortisol levels over time weaken the immune system, increase blood pressure, and raise the risk of heart disease. So you see, respect and disrespect don't just affect feelings, they directly affect health. Research has also shown that elders who feel respected and connected live longer. In Okinawa, Japan, famous for its high number of centenarians, elders are deeply respected and celebrated. Families involve them in daily activities, and communities see them as role models. This cultural respect contributes to their mental well-being and may be one reason why they live so long. Another study from Harvard showed that people who maintain strong social bonds, including respectful family relationships, live healthier and happier lives compared to those who are isolated. Respect builds those bonds. Let me put it this way: a pill can cure an illness, but respect can prevent it. Let me share a story. An elderly man in his 80s was placed in a nursing home. At first, he was sad and withdrawn, but the staff decided to do something simple. They started greeting him every morning with respect, asking about his day, listening to his stories. Slowly, his mood improved. His appetite returned. His energy increased. The doctor was amazed at how much his health improved, not because of medicine, but because of respect. A kind word, a patient ear, or a respectful smile can heal more than we realize. Respect is not just emotional, it is biological medicine. So when you show respect to an elder, remember this: you are not only giving them dignity, you may literally be adding years to their life. Now that we know how powerful respect can be, the next question is, how do we actually show it in daily life? Sometimes people think respect means big gestures, buying gifts, organizing events, or making public declarations. But the truth is, respect is shown in small, simple, daily actions. Here are some practical ways you can show respect to the elders in your life. 1. Listen with patience. When an elder speaks, give them your full attention. Don't interrupt. Don't rush them. Sometimes they may repeat stories, but instead of feeling annoyed, understand that repetition is their way of holding on to memories. Listening is the simplest and most powerful way to show respect. 2. Use kind words. Words like please, thank you, and I appreciate you may seem small, but they carry big meaning. They remind elders that they are still valued and respected. 3. Ask for advice. Elders love to feel useful. Ask them about life, work, relationships, or even cooking tips. Involving them in decisions makes them feel important. 4. Help with dignity. When assisting with tasks like walking, eating, or using technology, do it gently. without making them feel helpless. Respect means offering help while preserving independence. 5. Celebrate their stories. Ask them about their past, record their memories, share their wisdom with younger generations. It makes them feel proud and keeps family traditions alive. 6. Teach technology with patience. Instead of saying, "You don't understand," guide them step by step. A little patience can open doors for them to connect with the world. Respect is not about doing something extraordinary. It's about doing ordinary things with kindness and love. The truth is, elders don't always remember what you gave them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Respect for elders looks different across cultures, but the heart of it is the same: honoring age, wisdom, and experience. And we can learn so much from these traditions. In Japan, there's a national holiday called Kero no Hai, respect for the aged day. Families gather, communities honor seniors, and the media highlights their achievements. It's a day that reminds everyone of the value of older generations. In Africa, elders are considered the spiritual and moral backbone of the community. The proverb says, "When an old man dies, a library burns to the ground." Elders are seen as walking encyclopedias of wisdom, and decisions are not made without their input. In Native American culture, elders are viewed as wisdom keepers. Their stories, rituals, and teachings are passed down through generations. Children are taught to listen, sit at their feet, and absorb their knowledge. In India, touching an elder's feet is a sign of deep respect. It symbolizes humility and acknowledgement of wisdom. Elders are often the guiding voice in family matters, and their blessings are considered sacred. Respect may look different across the world, but the message is the same. Elders are treasures, not burdens. If we can learn from these cultures, we can revive respect in our own homes and communities. Respect for elders doesn't just impact today, it shapes the future. Because children are watching. And children don't do what we say. They do what we show. When a child sees their parents respecting elders, listening, helping, showing kindness, they learn that respect is normal. It becomes part of their character. And when those children grow up, they pass it on. Here's a story. A boy grew up watching his father care for his grandfather. Every day, the father would bring food, listen to stories, and show patience. Years later, when that boy's father became old, the boy did the exact same thing, because he had learned respect by example. That's the ripple effect. Respect flows from one generation to the next. When you respect your parents, you're not only honoring them, you're teaching your children how to one day honor you. Respect is not only about the past, it's an investment in the future. We've reached the final chapter. And this is where the message becomes more than just words. It becomes action. Because respect for elders is not something we should only talk about. It is something we must bring back into our homes, our schools, our communities, and even our governments. So, what can we do? 1. Start small. Start at home. Call your parents or grandparents. Visit them. Ask about their day. Show them they matter. 2. Celebrate elders publicly. Birthdays, anniversaries, achievements. Make them big. Share their stories. Post about their wisdom on social media. Let the world see their value. 3. Teach children respect. Schools should include lessons about elder respect. Families should model it daily. Children should grow up seeing elders as mentors, not burdens. 4. Support community programs. Volunteer at senior centers. Advocate for policies that protect elders' dignity and well-being. Let me close with a story. An old man was once planting a tree. A young boy asked, "Why are you planting this tree?" You are too old to eat its fruits." The old man smiled and said, "I may not enjoy its shade, but my grandchildren will." That's the spirit of elders. They give without expecting. They sacrifice so others can live better. The least we can do is give them respect in return. Respect for elders is not just about the past. It is about building a kinder, wiser, more compassionate future. If you believe respect for elders should never fade, join us in this movement. Hit subscribe, like this video, and share it with your family. Together, we can bring dignity, love, and wisdom back into the spotlight where it belongs.